Hey there, fellow hungry travelers. I'm Jocelyn, and this is the Eats of Costa Rica. So when we talk about Costa Rican cuisine, it's pretty simple, very hearty fare, and it relies a lot, like the backbone of it is rice and beans. You'll see rice and beans in almost every really great dish here, and let's go through some of those now. So the national dish, we'll just start there, right? The national dish of Costa Rica is Gallo Pinto. Gallo Pinto is rice and beans with onions and pepper and cilantro, and then usually it has a couple fried eggs on top, sometimes some fried sweet plantains on the side. There will be tortillas, maybe sometimes even toast if you ask for it, and often there's sour cream too, but not always. And you know, some of those things can kind of vary, but it's that rice and beans and eggs. Oh my gosh, y'all, put a little Lozano sauce on that. That's the brown sauce you'll see on every table in every restaurant you go to in this country. It's wonderful, and it's really great on eggs. I actually make something like Gallo Pinto all the time at home. I don't always, do all the onions and all that, the spices, but it's such a good flavorful dish, and it's really hearty start to the day. So the quintessential lunch in Costa Rica is Casado. Casado translates to married, and I think it's probably because they marry a whole bunch of good stuff together, like rice and beans. A protein, you'll have choice usually, chicken, fish, those are big ones, pork, you can get beef, occasionally you'll even find something like shrimp. There will be some salad, usually fried plantains in the form of the sweet plantains again, although I have seen patacones, and I will tell you about those in just a minute. Often there's a side of picadillo, and picadillo is like chopped vegetables that are like, they've been pickled, for lack of a better term. They're not strongly pickled, it's just a little hint of vinegar. Sometimes you'll even get that picadillo, not only with casado, but you'll get it on the side with Gallo Pinto as well. All right, so this next dish is called arroz con pollo. So it's rice with chicken. It is basically just chicken chopped up in rice, and there's, other things in there, obviously, to make it taste good. It's not like super plain or anything. It's a very good, tasty dish. Lozano in there again, but I also like hot sauce in mine. But there's also on menus pollo con arroz. Pollo con arroz is chicken with rice. So whichever word comes first, that's the main part of the dish. So pollo con arroz is like chicken with some rice. Arroz con pollo is a big, huge thing of rice with a little bit of chicken thrown in there. Not a little, I mean, it's a serving's worth, but it's kind of just all mixed in there, and it's definitely the lesser of the two ingredients. So arroz con pollo is like the family dish, right? So it's a big one pot sort of dish. And when people get together to celebrate their kids' birthdays or, whatever, Sunday dinner, it's probably gonna be arroz con pollo. So it is like the comfort food of the country. Actually, I kind of find all of their cuisine to be very comforting, warm, hearty sorts of things. So speaking of comfort food, my favorite comfort food is stew. And Olla de Carne is like their beef stew. It'll have chunks of veggies in there, yucca, carrots, sweet corn's in there too. So like this is like comfort food for like cold fall days, because let's face it, they don't like really have winter here, but on their cold days, that's what you should be eating. So speaking of warm foods, sopa negra is like definitely a hot food. It's soup, right? And it's black bean soup. And there's onions and cilantro and spices and things in there. Often it's served with poached eggs, which, I mean, who doesn't love a good poached egg? And then there's always a side of tortillas. So that's another like evening, fall, winter sort of thing.
It's the seafood. It is phenomenal here. Sea bass is great. We had trout last night, which was great. You're gonna have mahi-mahi. You'll have so much great fish that's here, but also the shrimp. You'll see lobster stuff. You'll see all kinds of great seafood here. Definitely eat it. I mean, they've got 2 coasts, and so you're gonna have fresh fish no matter where you are in the country, so eat that up. No matter what, if you're not sure what to get the fish, you will be fine. It is phenomenal here, okay? Now also, when we're looking at phenomenal stuff, you're looking at the fresh fruit. The fresh fruit here, mangoes, papaya, pineapple. Look, the pineapple in the US, a lot comes from Costa Rica. The thing is, they pick it here, and it ripens on the way to the grocery store. Here, when you in the U.S. at least, when you're eating it here, they picked it fresh, and it is so much sweeter and so much juicier. Oh my God, I'm drooling just thinking about the fruit, the pineapple, the mangoes, the papayas. You definitely have to have those, okay? And eat those for breakfast, lunch, dinner, whenever you can have it, have it. There's these things called fruterias where you can go get fruit anytime, and it's really good. Now, another thing with that fruit you want to have is you want to have the refrescos. You want to have the drinks made of, the fresh juice drinks, and they'll make it out of papaya or guanábana, or they'll make it out of pineapple or, watermelon. I mean, it's so fresh that they make it into these juices. And yes, you have them at your soda, they'll have them at the sodas and stuff like that. And you have them, and it's really is you drink it and you feel refreshed from it. And it is just another quintessential thing you have to drink when you are here.
And I should tell you that in Costa Rica, breakfast is pretty hearty. That Gallo Pinto is definitely a thing. And then lunch is the main meal. It's the big meal. And so you might just have something like sopa negra for dinner at night. And it's like a light, easy sort of thing. Because I tell you what, by the time you're done with like 90-degree days, you don't really feel like eating a big, heavy meal. So that one's gonna be a light meal.
Costa Rica is famous for its coffee. I hate coffee. I mean, I literally hate coffee. I've actually had 3 cups here. I hate coffee, but I love the coffee here. It is actually very smooth. It's not the bitterness. You can have it with milk or whatever. It is really good, but coffee is a definite must when you are in Costa Rica. Other things you can drink, yes, they have all the international sodas here, so you're fine with that. But some of the quintessential stuff is pipa fria, which is coconut water. They, chop off the top of the coconut and you drink it with a straw out of there. And the other thing you might want to try, if you can find it, it's called chan. Chan is like these little seeds they put into the water. They pour the hot water in, mix it up, and chill it a little bit. And it's kind of like drinking brains or snot or something. It's really kind of a weird texture, but definitely a quintessential Costa Rican thing. I actually really liked it. One of my kids did. The other one was like, what is this I'm drinking? It was pretty funny. But honestly, chan, if you can get it, is well worth trying because it is another quintessential thing. That seems to be the word today.
So like many places in Latin America, they have tamales. And Costa Rican tamales are, corn dough, and then there'll be vegetables, meat, whatnot thrown inside. But what makes them really unique is that they're wrapped in banana leaves, and they're massive. Like, they look like a giant burrito in the US. You know those burritos we get that are bigger than your head? That's kind of what their tamales look like. So you don't want to get like 6 or 7 of them. Don't walk up to the lady on the corner and go, I would like 6, you're never going to be able to eat them all.
Other little snacks you might have, chicharrones. Now chicharrones are like, and you look on the menu, it'll say like pork rinds. It's not like traditional pork rinds like you see in the US in a bag. This is really like crispy pieces of pork, and it is phenomenal. Okay, you definitely want to have that when you're here. If you go to Germany and you have like the Schweinehaxe, the pork knuckle, it kind of tastes like that. It is awesome. You have to have chicharrones. Another thing you might want to have when you're looking for a kind of a snack thing is you'll see them bring you a lot of chips and bean dip. Yes, the bean dip here is actually very good, and you should definitely have some when you're here.
So another light meal, it can be an appetizer, but I actually have ordered Chifrijo for like a light lunch when I'm just too hot to eat, or for dinner. So Chifrijo is like a layered bowl, and it's rice and beans, fried pork, pico de gallo, and avocado. So you'll find these in sodas. By the way, sodas are the small mom and pop kind of restaurants that you'll find all over Costa Rica. And I'm gonna be really honest here, there are less of them in the really tourist areas than there are when you're like a little more removed from like the larger cities and the, like where all the expats and all the tourists are. You'll find some, but you're gonna find a lot more when you get like 5 miles down the road. Okay, so I mentioned patacones before, and patacones are one of my favorite things here. They are fried plantains, but instead of being the sweet ones that are like long, these are like larger and they're flat and they're like chips, and they're fried hard, they're savory, not sweet, and they're often served with like guacamole and whatever dips you may find, like bean paste or whatever. And they're like, talk about a nutritious chip. Whoever thought chips could be nutritious? But they don't taste like banana or anything like that. Some people kind of like step back from that, but they're a really great savory sort of thing to scoop up all your dips and things with, or maybe just put some rice and beans on there and use it as a spoon.
Now, if you want to have like a little mix of things out there, you can have what's called a picada, and picada is like a little, little pinches of things. So you might get a little bit of the pork rind stuff, the chicharrones, or a little bit of ceviche, or a little bit of fried fish, or a little bit of camarones or shrimp on it. That's a nice little snack to have when you are on the way.
Ceviche is another really great food here, and it's also light and it's bright. You know, it's fish that's cooked with lemon juice or lime juice, and then there's like usually some vegetables, kind of like julienne in there. There'll be maybe pineapple, maybe you'll find mango. There'll be all sorts of things. Like there'll be onions on top. It's huge amounts of like layers of flavors, and it's really light, cool, and refreshing. So when you're here and it's like hot as bejesus out, you just get that, and oh my gosh, and sometimes you're eating that with the patacones, and I just love it. Occasionally you'll find it with coconut milk, and that's a rarity, but I really love that softness of the coconut milk combined with the tartness of the lime and everything. It's a really good one. So if you find that, it's not often, but it's worth buying.
What are you gonna have for dessert here in Costa Rica? The fruits are really good, but the tres leches cake, the 3-milk cake, is a must when you're here. It is so sweet and so delectable, and they have it pretty much everywhere around the country. You're gonna love that. And if you get a chance, try some Costa Rican ice cream. If you wanna get the pre-packaged stuff, you have Dos Pinos, which my kids have really enjoyed, and then there's a chain of ice cream places called Pops. If you go to Pops, have like the mango ice cream or papaya ice cream, because it's made with fresh fruit from here in Costa Rica, and it is just phenomenal.
So every country I feel like has some kind of pancake. Churreras are the pancakes of Costa Rica. They can be sweet or savory, usually served with honey, sometimes sour cream. They're made with corn, so they can be sweet. You know, they're never overpoweringly sweet. And that's a good one for like any time of the day kind of snack or something like that if you need something just a little on the sweeter side. So I know there are a whole bunch more. If you know what they are, please put them in the comment section below, because this could be a very long video. But yay for rice and beans, Lozano sauce, and like fresh fruits and vegetables everywhere you look. Enjoy Costa Rica. Bye.